Hello YouTube, my name is Nye from Folk Friend and Finale Guitar in Sheffield. Today I'm still stuck in Spain, so you join me in the living room. Looks like I'm going to be here for quite a while longer yet because all the towns with functional airports at the moment are completely inaccessible by any sort of public transport. So yes, apologies for the slightly less well edited feel of today's video. There will be no snazzy arrows, digital overlays or animations of fat cats eating pizza, I'm afraid. That is because I've only got a very old laptop with me, and so I can't do any of that stuff at the moment. But what I'm going to be doing today is finishing off the series that I started a little while ago, which is the Complete Guide to Folk Music Theory. In the first video I looked at the major scale and we discovered that there were a pattern of intervals which we like to hear. That pattern is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, and I showed you as well that using that pattern there were 7 notes in a major scale. From those 7 notes you could build 7 chords, one for each one of those notes, meaning that if you were playing along with a tune in a major scale there were 7 chords to choose from. And in reality there are only 6 because one of them sounds a bit horrible, so folkies tend not to use it. So the chords available to you in a major key are chords 1, 4 and 5, those are all major, and then chords 2, 3 and 6 are minor, and the 7th one is the diminished one, which people tend to avoid. The next thing I talked about was the 7 Greek modes. Those are Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian and Locrian. Of those 7, only 4 of them are used in Celtic music. So the 4 that we need to know about are the first one, Ionian, that's just a major scale. The second one, Dorian, which is a sort of optimistic minor. The 5th one, Mixolydian, which is bluesy or cheeky. And the 6th one, Aeolian, which is very dark minor. What I'm going to be doing today then is showing you how we can take the pattern of chords from the major scale and use it to work out all the chords that fit with the other 3 modes used in folk music. And I'm going to be doing that with the aid of the amazing mode wheel, a device which I invented, which is a really very useful way of visualising and memorising how the modes work for Celtic music. So I'm going to be using examples related to C major, and the reason for that is that C major's key signature is nothing. It doesn't have any sharps or flats, so it's easy to think about. So I'm going to turn my little wheel so it says C Ionian at the top there, and that shows all the chords in C major. So C major, 2 D minor, 3 E minor, 4 F major, 5 G major, 6 A minor, 7 B diminished, not using that one, go away, and then we're back to the start on C major. I've also got a bit of paper here somewhere where I've written them all down so you can see them more easily, hopefully. So if we're in the key of C major, our main chords are chords 1, 4 and 5, and I've talked in previous videos about how to pick chords for major keys. What you need to do is put chord 5 on every 7th foot tap, come back to chord 1 at the end of every section, like an A part or a B part, listen for where chord 4 goes, and then put chord 1 everywhere else. That's it. It's really quite simple. If you don't know what I'm talking about with that, look at the last Folky Fridays video because I went through in some detail how to pick the right chords for a tune in a major key in that. And I will be making a more technologically advanced video as soon as I get home covering that as well. Now if we want to work out what chords go in a Dorian mode tune, because Dorian is the 2nd mode, you just go back 1 in the alphabet and it's going to have the same key signature and therefore the same chords as the major scale starting on that one. So let's take D Dorian as an example. D Dorian, go back 1 in the alphabet, you've got C Ionian or C major, same thing. And so you've got all the same chords in D Dorian available to you as you would have had in C major or C Ionian. That is demonstrated on the mode wheel here, look. So you've got, there's your C Ionian, and here is D Dorian. Now if our tune is in the mode of D Dorian, it's got all the same notes in it, but it's going to have a lot more Ds in it to make it clear that that's its key note. It's probably going to start and finish on D, it's definitely going to finish on D, and that's how your ear is going to kind of naturally work out that it's in D Dorian. You don't have to worry too much about that because your ears do it automatically. They're very good at working out from the sum of the averages of the numbers of notes in a tune what key it's in. You'll never listen to a D Dorian tune and go, oh, I think this is in C major. That's highly unlikely. Anyway, yeah, so if we're picking chords for D Dorian, we've got the same set of chords available to us, but now our main ones are 1, 4 and 5 starting on D minor. So our chord 1 is D minor, our chord 4 is G major, and our chord 5 is A minor. The principle for picking the chords then for your tune in D Dorian is exactly the same as it was for a tune in C Ionian. So you listen to the tune, you put chord 1 at the beginning, you put chord 5 coming back to chord 1 on every 7th foot tap, and then you listen to the rest of it and you work out the bits that sound like they need chord 4, and you put chord 4 in those bits. And then you can use substitutions in the same way as you would, so you can substitute any minor chord for its related major, any major chord for its related minor. Same old, same old. The only difference is that if you're in one of the two minor modes, which are Dorian or Aeolian, then you can substitute chord 5, which is minor, for its related major. I said before in an Ionian key, you can never substitute chord 5, it's always got to be chord 5. But if you're in Dorian or Aeolian, and actually also in Mixolydian, you can substitute the minor 5th chord for its related major. Let's have a look at an example with Aeolian. If we go through the modes again, we've got Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian. Aeolian's the 6th mode. So if I'm looking for the key signature and the chord options of a tune in Aeolian, I count back 6 through the alphabet. A, G, F, E, D, C. So C major, C Ionian, is the same key signature and the same chords as Aeolian, which means I've got all those same options we had before, except that now my main ones are going to start from A minor. That's going to be my chord 1 in Aeolian. My chord 4 is D minor, and my chord 5 is E minor. You can see that as well on the mode wheel. There's A minor, Aeolian's my starting point, so that's chord 1. 2, 3, chord 5, D minor, chord 4, D minor, and chord 5, E minor. It's the same deal with picking chords in Aeolian. You can substitute a minor chord for its related major. A minor can go to C, D minor can go to F, E minor can go to G. And there are other types of substitutions as well. I'm not going to bother talking about them in this video. That's one for another time. You can find out a lot more about the more interesting types of substitutions in my ebook, Backing Guitar Techniques for Traditional Celtic Music. You'll find that linked in the card in the corner of the screen right now, and it's also linked at the end of this video. Anyway, the last mode to look at is the 5th mode, Mixolydian. I've saved this one for last because it's a bit more confusing than the other ones. Mixolydian is a bit more vague in its tonality, and the reason for that is that if you imagine a C major scale, chord 5 is very unstable and always wants to resolve back to chord 1, and that's what it does at the ends of sections. The Mixolydian mode is effectively starting on chord 5 from a major scale. That's, it's the 5th mode, it starts from the 5th degree. So it has this kind of slightly unstable feel to it, which is what lends it its bluesy, cheeky charm, but also makes it a little bit more confusing to back. So, if we're in G Mixolydian, because C, D, E, F, G, the 5th mode, so G is going to have the same notes in it as C major, and that means it's got all the same chords in it. So here's my list of chords. The main chords are G major, chord 1. Where are we? C major, chord 4, and D minor, chord 5. The thing that's different about Mixolydian is that you don't necessarily always have to end on chord 5 in Mixolydian. Generally, to begin with, you can think of it in the same terms as the other modes, so put chord 5 at the ends of sections, listen out for bits that sound chord 4y. But sometimes you'll find that a Mixolydian tune might sound better ending on chord 4, and that's because of this thing of the root chord being unstable and wanting to resolve down a fifth. So if you were playing a tune in C major, you'd have G major resolving back to C at the end, and that would be a kind of natural sounding thing to do. And because you're effectively starting on the 5th degree in a Mixolydian tune, sometimes it sounds nice to end it on C. That's a kind of in-depth music theory thing, which I'll probably talk about a lot more in future videos, but just bear in mind, basically it's the same principle of 1, 4 and 5, but sometimes try throwing in a chord 4 at the end of a Mixolydian tune and just see what it sounds like. It does sound pretty cool. Substitutions wise, if you're in G Mixolydian, you can substitute G major for its related minor, E minor. You can substitute C major for its related minor as well, A minor. Did I just say G major was related to A minor? I did, didn't I? G major, E minor, C major, A minor. And also, you can, for chord 5, which should be D minor, you can substitute it for its related major if you want to. There's a lot more I could say about substitutions. There are other substitutions available. I'm not going to say it in this video because I want to keep this fairly simple for now. The key takeaways from this video are, whatever mode you're in, you need to remember that Ionian is mode 1, Dorian is mode 2, Mixolydian is mode 5, and Aeolian is mode 6. So if you count back however many, you'll find that you've got the key signature. So for example, with 6, mode 6, Aeolian, you count back 6 through the alphabet. Whatever your thumb is on, that is the key signature that it's got, and that means it's got the same chords as whatever major key that is. So A, Aeolian, A, G, F, E, D, C. C major's got the same chords as A, Aeolian does. Next thing, whichever one your root chord is for the mode that you're playing in, you are going to mainly use chords 1, 4 and 5 starting from that one. So for Aeolian, our example again, we had A minor as chord 1, D minor as chord 4, and E minor as chord 5. Then you can substitute either related minors or related majors, and other things, we'll come back to them. And yeah, that's it. If you're in a major key, Ionian, you can only use chord 5 back to chord 1 on the 7th foot taps. But if you're in a minor key, you can substitute chord 5 for its related major. And if you're in Mixolydian, you can do that as well. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope it's been helpful to you. Once again, apologies for the lower technological calibre than usual. If you would like a Folk Friend t-shirt, I am pleased to announce that the people who make them are now making them once more. Shipping is a little slower than usual. They might take something like up to a month to get to you, but they are making them once more. So if you do want one, now is the time. Order one in the link down below. If you're interested in a mode wheel, they're very, very helpful. They provide a really useful way to visualise the modes and memorise which chords go together. And also, if you're stuck in a session and you can't think which chords will fit with the current tune, then you can pop your mode wheel out, turn it to the right key, and then it'll tell you all the options available. So they're really handy. They're linked in a little card at the corner of the screen, and at the end of this video you can find a link to the shop page of my website where they are available, alongside my ebook, Backing Guitar Techniques for Traditional Celtic Music, which tells you a lot more detail about all of this music theory stuff. along with strumming patterns. It's got an audio folder full of ear training exercises, examples of everything I play. It's really, really good. Go and get it. Yeah. Anyway, that's it from me for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe. I'll be making more videos very, very soon, and you'll get them all straight to your inbox. Hit the little bell next to it as well, then you'll get a notification when they're uploaded. And one more thing, I'll be doing a Folky Fridays live stream this afternoon. It's from 5:30 PM UK time. And in today's one, I'm going to be looking at different strumming patterns, all the classic ones for the standard Irish rhythms, on a request from one of my viewers. So tune in for that if you've got any questions you'd like to ask me, or you want to just learn more about strumming patterns. Yeah, you can find that on the Folk Friend channel as well this afternoon. Nice one. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.